I'm your host, Jodi Pickens, and today we're stepping into the future of Star Trek with one of the new faces helping shape its latest chapter. Joining us is Raffa Virago, who plays Cadet Pickford in Star Trek Starfleet Academy. Raffa is a Brazilian-Canadian actress whose work began in theater and has already started to draw attention early in her career. With award-winning work in Dying in Plain Sight and now a role in the Star Trek universe, she is a part of an exciting new generation of performers bringing fresh energy to the screen. Raffa, welcome to the Clonestar podcast.
Hello! I love that intro, I'm not gonna lie.
Well, I'm glad. That's what we hoped. We aim for, making you happy right from the get-go. Well, we're thrilled to have you here today, and I'm excited to talk to you. As I mentioned, you played Cadet Pickford in Starfleet Academy, and, you know, I think, and we'll talk obviously about your time on Trek here in a little bit, but something that Star Trek seems to always do is find us a character who maybe isn't a main character, but it definitely becomes a very memorable one. And I do believe that
I love that.
Cadet Pickford has done that in Starfleet Academy. So we're thrilled to have seen you in the show and to talk to you today because you've got quite a lot of exciting stuff you've done in your career so far.
Yeah, I'm happy. I like the way it's going, so, you know.
No complaints.
No complaints here.
Well, I want to start kind of at the beginning and talk about, you know, what were you like growing up that kind of influenced this path?
Like most actors, I was annoying, you know? Like most children actors, I was dramatic and annoying, but in the best way, you know?
Yeah.
I like to think so. But no, I loved to perform. I did a lot of musical theater as a kid. My mom had to work a lot, so she, like, anyway, any camp, anything that I could go in, she'd put me in. So I went to, like, zoo camp and stuff, and that wasn't the best. And then my mom found musical theater, and then I really enjoyed that. So it was more of, like, a way to pass time, really, than anything.
Yeah.
But then I got really obsessed with it, and that's all that I talked about and all that I did, and my mom couldn't handle it anymore, but she was like, fine, you know, as long as the kid's happy. So it was just a lot of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it a musical or a creative household?
So my mom is like the most creative person ever. She doesn't do it for work, but she's just incredibly, like, that woman does anything and everything under the sun. So she when she was younger, she went to church a lot. So she would be like lead of the church choir kind of thing. So she'd do a lot of that stuff. And then she started her own, like, baking sweets company. Like, she's like so she would make, like, Brazilian desserts a lot.
Oh, yeah.
So, like brigadeiro, like, she'd make, like, a bunch of different beautiful desserts. She used to decorate cakes. So she'd make, like, real, like, she'd, like, essentially make, like, real life dogs and, like,
oh, wow.
That look like, that are cake, but it looks like dogs, and like, it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's so cool. So my mom has always been really creative. But, so I think I like to say that I got it from her, but no one has really, like, fully done arts.
Yeah.
Fully like that. But I did get most of my talent from her, for sure.
Well, it comes sometimes from somewhere, doesn't it? And I think,
it has
you know,
to.
Yes, yeah. How did, you know, kind of that influence then of your mom being, you know, an artist of her own right, you know, through food or creating or singing or whatever, did that have an influence or set a foundation for you as an artist, do you think? Or did you start from that place?
I think that less so my mom's ability to do it, but my mom's work.
Like her drive?
Yeah, her drive and her ambition and her dedication to do it. Because my mom is an immigrant and she came here really young. Mm-hmm. And she had to work heavily to be able to, like, sustain any type of lifestyle here. Right. So, seeing my mom take her ambition and put it into something that like she needs to survive, but she also makes it something that she can enjoy and that she can, you know, work on her ability and her crafts, like her craftsmanship and all of that. I think it was incredibly telling to me about what I had to do to be able to succeed, or whatever succeeding even means, but just be able to have some sort of career or just book work or anything like that. It just showed me that you can't just sit around on your butt and wait for shit to happen. You kind of just have to take the steps to figure it out.
There's a tenacity to surviving and thriving in a new 100%. Place, especially as an immigrant. So that's a big kudos to her for that.
Yeah.
It takes a lot.
Yeah, she's incredible.
That's good. That's a good thing. We like incredible parents out there.
We do.
So you talked about, going to the camps and discovering musical theater. So when did it really feel like something that this was the path you were going to follow?
I'm lucky to say that I don't think I ever knew any other path that I could do. I mean, I really wanted to be a midwife for a bit when I was younger, but that's just because I watched a lot of I Didn't Know I Was Pregnant at a too young of an age on TLC.
That'll do it.
Yeah, it will, won't it? But I always kind of knew that I wanted to do it. I just didn't understand that there was a job, like that was a job at all in a way.
Yeah.
I think I started with musical theater when I was young, and I did those those like triple threat camps. I really love to do that. And whenever I watch like TV, like the movie theater is my favorite place on earth. It's it is my, I'm a Sin Club member. Like I love the movies. It's the one place you'll find me every month at least 2 times.
Nice.
Like it's like my place. But it started when I was young, and whenever I watched movies, I'd kind of like act it out while in the movie. It was annoying. When I thought I was an annoying kid, I would be like the main actress would be on screen, and I'd be mimicking them, being like. So I didn't know it was a job. I thought it was fake, and then I was like, "Mom, I want to do that," and my mom was like, "No."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "No, please." But she then was like, if you do a year of classes and you stick with it, then we'll talk about it. And then I did that, and it became like my safe space in a way for me to like express myself creatively in a non-judgmental or supposedly non-judgmental zone. And then, feel free. And so then I just loved it. And there is nothing I could ever imagine myself doing outside of it, Did
you go to an arts focused school then?
I did. I went to ESA, so I went to Etobicoke School of the Arts, which is like the high school. Like, I went there for my final 2nd years of high school. I didn't go there for my first 2 years, but because also COVID hit when I was in high school, so it was just like, now it's tough. But I went for my last 2 years, so I did art focused high school, and then when I was like in just elementary public school, I was doing things on the side, like I was doing acting classes and that kind of thing.
That's awesome. That's great. I have to imagine that for a young person going into the arts at the high school level at that age, and then through COVID, that's a challenge.
Not cute.
Not cute. Not at all.
No.
Goodness. So that changes kind of, I would think, the way that you learn about the craft.
Yeah. I mean, doing Chekhov over Zoom wasn't the most... exciting, most thrilling event, but you do learn a bit about the commitment of it all, just giving it your all, regardless of how pointless like life seems in that moment,
Oh yeah. I can imagine. I mean, I had a lot of young people in my world, and just seeing them go through their regular classes via Zoom was, struggle enough, but
for sure.
Bravo to you and everyone else that got through that at that age. You talked about film being a passion, like you love the movies and all of that.
Yeah.
Were there any specific films or performers or stories that really sparked an interest in you at a young age?
None of them are like really like profound. Like, I'm not about to name you but regardless, I loved Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This is the 2014, the one with Megan Fox. I loved that. I loved Spider-Man movies. Yeah. I watched them with my dad a lot. That was like me and my dad. Like, we didn't talk. My dad only speaks Portuguese,
Okay.
I'm fluent. But when I was younger, I wasn't the best speaker. So we would really connect when we went to the movie theater and watched Spider-Man. And that was like the best time ever. So Spider-Man, I think as I got older, I started to find like I started to understand what I really wanted to do in film, and that's what I started trying to like watch more often. Mm-hmm. So I loved indie like awful indie films for some reason.
Sure.
I loved like it. I wanted to be an indie princess. I still kind of do, but
that could be a goal. That's growing industry right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I love the indie. I love a good. I think the most amazing experience I've ever had. It was 12th grade. I went to there's this tiny theater that I have near me, the Kingsway Theater, and the thing is they always play a mix between like the big blockbusters, and then you have their indie films, and they have their foreign films and whatever. So me and my friend went because we were working on our philosophy project, and then we went to watch The Eight Mountains, which I believe is an Italian film. Okay. We didn't know it was Italian going into it. We just bought a ticket. We said, "Oh, that looks good," and he kind of looked like Timothée Chalamet. So I was like, "Oh, maybe I thought it was Timothée Chalamet for a little bit." We went in all in Italian. I go, "Ooh, oh wow!" But then it became one of my favorite movies of all time.
Oh wow!
And we wrote our whole philosophy project on it. So I think for me, film has always been. It really depends on how I feel, but like. Film has always been a way for me to experience something beyond myself and understand it, and it. I think it just makes me so happy. It makes me feel so fulfilled. So
if something speaks to you, that's powerful. I mean that.
Yeah, it is.
You have that connection to it, and that's really all you need. I mean that's a driving force of itself. Not a lot of people find that, especially at a young age, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm lucky.
Yeah. So you talked about, your mom kind of inspiring you and kind of saying to you, "All right, if you can do these classes for a year, we'll keep going." Yeah. But was there a point where like you noticed that the confidence to pursue this acting seriously really kind of clicked for you?
I was always a nervous person. I think I was really outgoing, but I was always a very nervous, just a very scared, anxious, nervous person, which I guess why Cadet Pickford worked so well. And then I did classes, and I think it's why whenever, not that I know much about anything yet, but I think when people ask me like, "Oh, how do you do it?" Or I want to get into it. Like, is it how, casually or whatever? For me, it's always been because of how I was as a kid, the practice of it all and the repetition of it all makes you grow and makes you stronger and makes you understand what's happening. And I think without that year, I would have never been able to pursue this in the way that it is, and in the structure of, or the lack of structure in the industry.
Yeah.
It's really hard to maybe not skill wise, but just tenacity and staying there and doing it regardless of what's being shown to you externally, continuing. It's hard to do without the understanding and the love of the craft itself. You can't just do it because you want to be rich and you want to be a star. It just doesn't. It's just it's very not the. I mean, you can. Who am I to say what you can't do? But
right.
For me, it wouldn't work that way. So yeah. I guess I want to say that it's it was a project or it was a moment, but it was, I think, just the act of showing up consistently and doing bad work and doing good work and doing work and
sure,
and just getting there and trying my best and committing to everything.
I studied music when I went to university and college.
That's
and
cool.
so I understand the concept of repetition and practice and experiencing different performances or rehearsals and things. And I do think that there's power in that, especially at a young age, that you having that experience and just kind of being in that moment and feeling it, letting it kind of resonate with you, then it helps guide you and shape you in a pretty profound way, especially as a creative. So I totally understand. I relate. What do you remember about maybe your earliest auditions and your first professional experiences?
Ooh, my first audition was a mess. Was a mess.
What was it for?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. But it was interesting. It was a commercial for, I hate commercials. I hate commercials. Maybe it's because I haven't gotten good at them, but it was really bad. So I started off trying to audition for commercials, and it was this for a supermarket in the US. Mm-hmm. And so they were looking for actors who spoke Spanish and English. Mm-hmm. But on the call thing, it was just Latin actors. So we go there, and then I find out I have to speak Spanish. Oh. I don't speak Spanish. I'm Brazilian, so I speak Portuguese.
Right. It's different.
Different language. Different language. And so I go, oh, okay. But because of my grip on Portuguese, it wasn't awful. But I go in there and I'm like, I'm trying my best. I'm feeling good. And then they're like, okay, so, the line's not working. Can you try and say something else in Spanish? I go, yes.
Of course.
Yes, of course. Because my mom says, never say no.
Right.
Don't say no. Which I now realize.
There's a line. Yeah.
There's a line you gotta say. There's a line to have. But, you're young. You're safe. Like, my mom's right outside. So, like, she's like, don't do anything crazy. But she's like, don't say no. They say something. You commit. I go, okay. I say, yes. And then they tell it to me, and I'm like, okay. I'm like trying to grab it. The guy who's supposed to play my dad, so sweet. He's like, it's okay, you got it. And he's trying to teach me. Can't get it at all. But then I got it to a point where I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to say some random crap, and they're not going to know because clearly they don't know what they're doing either. So, and it worked out, didn't get it, but I got a call back. So to that I go,
hey, it's a little experience, not too bad.
Not too bad. But I think that kind of shaped me to be like, this is something where you have to be good on the fly, and it's just about, and you can't take it too seriously. You really can't. Because if you take it too seriously, it eats at you,
Oh,
like,
sure.
It feels like the world's gonna end in a way. So then you just have to be like, this is silly. I'm playing pretend for a living. And I get to wear cool costumes, and I get to talk to weird people, and it's the best thing ever. But it's, it's not brain surgery. I'm not out here, I'm not like a health worker during COVID,
Right.
And it's still important work. It's still very important work.
Yes.
But it's something where your job is not to complicate it. Your job is to do it. Mm-hmm. And you have to leave it at that. And hope that when people interpret it, it means something to them. Because it means something to you, but it just can't be this painstaking, Right. At least that's my theory on it. Maybe it'll change as I get older. Who knows?
Well, I think in your industry, there's a lot of no's that come your way.
100%.
Right. And those yeses that come, you have to,
Yeah.
You do have to give it your all, and you have to relish those moments because you don't know when the next one will be.
You don't.
And I think that's pretty powerful. That's very unlike a lot of professions out there in the world, and it makes it unique. And you do have to have that tenacity that you spoke of earlier because it's hard to take a lot of those rejections and no's and negatives.
Yeah.
So I get that. So what about what was the first positive experience you had in auditioning?
Not me having to think about it. I'm lucky to say that I haven't had any. I'm someone where I don't like to think of auditions as positive nor negative. I like to think of them as fun moments and like maybe not so fun moments. Just because I'm someone who, if I tie too much emotional like weight to something being good or bad, I'm less likely to do something that's bad, because I fear, like when I fear things, I'm kind of avoidant. So I try to make my mindset as neutral and as about the work as possible, so it's less like them looking at me and saying no to me, but more as in like, I'm showing you something that I like to do, and that this is my version of whatever you have given to 500 so people, and this is what I want to give to you. And if you don't want it, has nothing to do with me, more so like just the vibe you're going for. And so with auditions, I think most of my auditions, because of COVID, I started near COVID, so they just became Zoom auditions for a lot of it. I've rarely had any in-person auditions. So I think it was my first, one of the best auditions that I really loved. It was actually for this like web series I did, Macy, Murdoch. And it was fun because I felt so kind of free to do whatever I wanted. I did my tape with my coach. I love my coach, PJ Lazick. And then I did the Zoom, and it was like, and it was, I felt that I want to improvise, and I just did it, and it was fun, and it was like a kid's show, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. This is my first like time travel-esque thing. And I was like, so then I just kind of committed to it, and it felt great because it was like a chemistry in a way. So it just felt like I was actually connecting, when in Zoom you don't connect at all normally.
Right.
So I don't know. I think and I'm lucky to say I've had a lot of those experiences, and not many bad ones, other than like, hiccups here and there. But
sure.
Yeah. But I loved that one. That one was really fun.
Yeah. Do you have a preference for your auditions over Zoom or taped versus in person?
I mean, I've only experienced like 2 in-person auditions, so I think I'd have to experience more to be able to say that one.
Yeah.
So the choice, but I love Zoom auditions more than I love tapes, because I get to talk to my coach and PJ, and I love him. But and I love working through something. But there's an essence of Zoom that it's like exhilarating. It's this like adrenaline where like you're waiting in the call, and they're like, you're next, and you're like, okay, like I don't know, it's this like fire that rises in your gut, and you're just and you just have to be present.
Yeah.
Regardless of how quick they want you in and out, and they want to get as many people they can. I don't know. It also gives I love Zoom in the sense of like, it feels like it's trying to mimic in person while still having the accessibility of a tape, you know? Yeah. Like you can audition from anywhere, but you still get to somewhat connect. So I think Zoom for me is at least the best of both worlds.
Yeah. There is something about being in the moment, right? Because that's what that really forces you to do. You can't take it back. Right. Yeah. That's interesting, because I know there's a lot of actors who are trying to really push to get a lot more in-person.
Yeah, not one of them.
Well, it's interesting, but your perspective's different with you being younger and newer to the profession, right? In a way that you were brought in at a time where these Zoom auditions and things
were the norm.
They were the norm. So yeah, it's a very interesting perspective, and I totally get it. Like I can see how that would be. Your perspective on it is great. I love that. I love it. So in kind of from those early auditions, was there any big lessons you took away that changed the way you approached what you were doing?
Oh yeah. My mom always said this too. I used to be the type of person, I always felt like, my mom always thought honesty is the best policy kind of situation. So I always took that to the extreme. So like everything I felt in that moment, I would share. And I realized there's a time and a place. So like, I'd always be like, oh, I'm so nervous. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, I'm this. Oh, I'm that. And my mom was like, you gotta stop doing that, Rafaela, like, stop it. And I'd be like, but I'm being honest, you know, like, I need them to know that, you know, if this is not my best work, it's because I'm this.
Yeah.
And then I just realized, I think from doing it, I just realized that you can't care. Obviously, the whole idea is that you're collaborating with someone. It's not, they want to find their person. Like, they're not against you. I think for the longest time, and this is something that a lot of actors say, and then I got from a lot of actors watching, you know, like clips on YouTube or whatever. But
sure,
there's this, I think I went into auditions being like, oh my God, they're not going to like me because of, so this. Oh, it's not going to work because of this. And then I think I had such a great experience with someone because I think I messed up and then I felt really bad, but I kept going because of like theater and whatever. And like that idea of like, you just, you know, push through it. But then I was like, oh yeah, I'm not getting this one. I suck right now. And I think instead of them just being like, okay, moving on, they're like, okay, let's try that again. And they worked with me through it. And I think that was the experience that I said in my head. I went, oh, this is what it's about. Like, it's not about proving yourself, even though sometimes it is, but it's not about, you know, proving yourself. It's about working through something and getting somewhere, getting to a product in a way or a result.
Mm-hmm.
And from then on, whenever I thought of auditions, I didn't really think about the job of it all, but I thought about, oh, what is this moment? Like, what is this moment supposed to mean? And what can I do to it? And what do I like about it? What can I say about it in my own way with who I am? And I think that changed. Like, now I think of auditioning as the job more so, and like the art of it all. And when I get on set, then it's like the bits and the pieces, but like the work is there, and then you do more work on top of that. But it's never been about the results or what it's going to look like. Also because film and TV is the editor's medium, right? Like, it's not an actor's medium. So you do what you do your job, because like, unlike theater where you get the space and the time to be able to, you know, work through it and spend, you know, at least 2 weeks rehearsing these moments to make them good. It's like, it's you doing it 2 times, 4 times, and then the editor being like, okay, I like this part, I like this part, I like this part, I like this part. Mm-hmm. So it's like, you have to find the place to do that work.
Yeah.
And so it just became more of like, stop focusing on the part that if you focus on it, you're not going to get anything from, and start focusing on the part that genuinely matters and the thing that you actually like to do, and not the whole like the semantics of it all.
Right. There is power, I believe. It's just kind of been my own personal philosophy, but there's opportunity to learn something from every situation.
Of course.
And it's hard to go into things, especially things you really want to have a chance at or to even get. But you have to find, like, what can I take from this? Good or bad? What am I learning from this?
Yeah. There's even an essence of, like, when, like, for me, it's weird, but, like, when your computer's not working or when your computer's not charging, and you have to kind of look away and, like, act like you don't care for it to go faster.
Right.
And I think I tried to adapt that kind of idea to this.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. You mentioned, obviously, talking about musical theater early on, and then just recently theater. Talk a little bit about your journey beginning in that realm of theater and stage work.
Yeah. Oompa Loompa was my first role in a stage play. That transformed everything for me. Orange and all, I loved it.
Oh, come on. That's fantastic.
Too good. And then I moved on to Munchkin. You know, it was that kind of thing. I did school plays first.
Sure.
And then I moved I did like things outside of school, very small. I never really did it like fully professionally. That's the goal too, I guess. I love plays more than musical theater. Mm-hmm. I think that's where my heart lies a bit more.
Sure.
But I did a lot of musical theater as a kid. I did like The Lion King and like Sound of Music and that kind of thing. And then when I went to high school, we did like Shakespeare, and I loved Chekhov. I loved Chekhov. loved Chekhov. And I think, I don't know. And then our final show was like these like student directed and sometimes written shows. And I did someone's show that was directed and they wrote it. And it was incredible. And I don't know. I think theater has been the thing that gives me faith in terms of like the craft itself. I think having to the structure of how you learn theater and the differences of how to perform it versus TV and film. I just think the best actors are theater actors because of the idea of the repetition of the practice of the craft itself. Like it's less glamorous in a way, or whatever you want to call glam. In anything, but it's less glamorous. So it's just so much more about the work itself than it is about like, oh, looking good in the TV and the frame so small and like, I don't know. I just think it's like where you get to use your body fully and it's like your muscles are like the muscles you build as a theater actor are so much stronger than in TV and film. And I noticed that when I was doing theater, I was just so much more open and just so much more, I felt so much more unlimited than when I did TV and film. Cause I think when you do that transition, I guess like bad teachers do this because I've met great teachers that have never said this before, and I wish I started with them, but that wasn't the case. But my like teachers that didn't have the vocabulary to explain the difference or how to transition, they'd be like, be smaller, like be tinier. The frame is tinier. It's stiller. Everything's more pronounced. Don't exaggerate. Don't be tiny. Be tiny. Be tiny. And I think that transition made me so self-conscious about what I looked like, about, the faces I was making, even though, like when we talk to each other, we're not worried about, like, we're not, oh, now I smile here. Oh, don't extend your eyebrows. Oh, don't move like, no one's doing that. And if you are, then, like, God, I hope you therapy, like it's okay. It's okay.
Right.
You don't have to be so self-aware,
Right.
So it's this idea of like, I think the transition is always integral as an actor and not, and being able to at least teach actors that it's not about being tiny, but it's about earning everything,
Yeah.
What's earned in a moment. Like you can be big. People are big. Some of the best performances you see, they're like breaking everything in the place. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're crying, but it's earned. So it's like, what does it mean to earn that thing? You can't just go from 1 to 100, or you can. It just means that it has to be logical and right for that moment. It can't be forced. Yeah. And that's what I wish I learned before, instead of just, limit yourself, be tiny, the frame's a bomb.
Yeah. Yeah. I have to imagine that there's such a difference between, performing on a stage, having that space, performing to a live audience. Yeah. I mean, that change from that to working on a set in kind of like almost micro moments of the bigger picture, that has just to be staggering as a performer. And that's not a shift that just happens in the flip of a switch at all. So no. I understand what you're saying, and I hate that someone said be smaller because that's such a negative connotation to a young performer, any performer really. Like you don't want somebody to be smaller. I think you can still be your full self, even if you're just trying to act within this smaller frame. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm happy that you took a lesson from it, but took that be smaller and tossed it
threw it in the trash.
Yes, absolutely.
Threw it in the trash.
We don't need that.
No, not here.
Anyone. No. Do you think, can we talk a little bit about your role that you won the Imagen Award for?
Yeah.
Can you tell people about that?
Yes. It was for this movie, Dying in Plain Sight. It's basically about a young girl, Morgan. She's in high school, but she's struggling with, I I believe atypical anorexia, where it's just she has anorexia, but normally, stereotypically, when we see women and people with anorexia, the first person you think of is a very petite, tiny, very skinny person. And atypical anorexia is just it's essentially just like anorexia, but when someone's not petite, tiny, and you can't necessarily see the result of that, so that so-called anorexia.
Okay.
But it's so when I went into doing that movie, I was really nervous because I struggled my whole life with, especially as an actor, like so much of it is the way we look and our bodies and just how people perceive us. Like the idea of film and like casting someone, it's like the whole idea of believability and there's the question of like, would anyone believe you if you went through the things in that role, right? And that's how they also cast. So they cast on how you look and your habits or whatever. And so I was really nervous doing this movie because I didn't want to go back into that space where I was when I was younger, where I felt like I had to be the smallest. I like be small and be tiny and petite and skinny to be valuable as an actor, or just be like a leading role or whatever.
Sure.
I just didn't want to have to feel like that again. And I didn't want to, risk my health for like beauty purposes, even though, it's so incredibly like tiring and not true at all. So I just didn't want to have to go through that. But I also thought that I thought it was something that was incredibly different that also Lifetime was doing. I think when I think about Lifetime, they're doing a new like Teens in Trouble segment where they're making movies essentially, and they're writing about things that are happening like in current society that I think is really exciting, and like it's really cool. But I really loved shooting this movie. I met so many lovely actors. I met Michelle Lulé, who's like such a great director. I don't know. I think it was the first time I was a leading role in a movie. It was my first movie. And and I got flown out to Calgary for it. So I was living in Calgary. It was my 17th to my 18th birthday. And it was like, it was just such an integral moment for me as an actor to also prove to myself that I could do it. Mm-hmm. Like you had that question before. It's like the practice for me, but it was in that moment, it was like, no, like I'm capable and I'm having fun doing it. I think every project that I do, I try to reflect and make sure that I actually enjoy doing it so that I don't burn myself out. And I think with this movie, it was one of those things where it's like, we shot that movie in 15 days.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, we shot that movie in 15 days and it was so fast paced and so kind of like violent emotionally speaking.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That you just like, I needed to make sure that I was okay doing it and make sure that this is something that I think really realistically could be sustainable for me for as long as I think I want to act, Yeah. And so I think it was just the first time that I was like, yeah, like this is for me. Like this is 100% irreverent. I'm not speaking that word anymore. This is for me 100%.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. I think that's powerful, that being your first, like, role. That's huge. I mean, that's a big deal. I mean, Lifetime is a powerhouse in this kind of made-for-TV movie type vibe.
Yeah, they are.
They really are. And then to come out of it and win.
I know, that was crazy.
That's awesome. I think that's fantastic. It's special. And I hope you keep that feeling, of that. You talked a little bit earlier about, like you really want to do more stage work, more theater. Mm-hmm. But you also talk about being a big fan of the film industry. So I'm curious, so having this experience doing the Lifetime work and then trying to balance that, did it change your perspective on kind of like film and TV production? I think
showed me. I think before, when I had conversations with people, it was a lot like Nicola. Nicola is she plays my mother in Dying in Plain Sight. And she's also a big theater. Like, she did a lot of theater in her career, and she did a lot of film and TV in her career. Like, she's incredible. So we were talking, and there's moments where she was like, yeah, like she was talking about how it is a big struggle to balance, especially when like film and TV is so unpredictable and it's so quick, but theater is unlike that. Like, it's like you spend time there, and having and depending on contractual stuff too, it's like it's a headache.
Right.
So it's one of those things where a lot of the time I heard how hard it was to balance, but then I don't know. I'm someone of the belief that like I'm someone who I can't just do one thing. I hate it. It's really hard for me to I love to commit to everything I do, but it's really hard for me to do the same thing.
Sure.
So like the thought of doing the same thing for the rest of my life makes me scared. And I don't love it. But that's why I love film, in the sense of you get to be different things. You get to do different things. So it doesn't feel like you're doing the same thing. But in the same way, I love the idea of being in different mediums and doing different things. Like I'm also like I'm in school for film right now.
Oh, nice.
I'm doing film production at York. So like I love everything to do with this industry, other than, the harmful aspects of it. But like I love the creative work that we do in the industry, and I like to be a part of everything. Like I love to DP. I even love to do sound. Like I can't explain it. It's just like I don't like doing one thing forever. I like to do many things all at once, and hopefully it's not a big fuck up, but and hope that something works out. I don't know. That's why I love the idea of doing theater and TV and, and writing my own stuff and directing. Sure. I just think it's just, I feel like it's the only way to feel fulfilled, especially when you're doing something like, I love acting, but there's an essence that you don't have a lot of autonomy over what you're saying, what you're doing, and like where you are. You don't. Yeah. Like you don't get to choose. You don't get to tell your side of the story. It's not your story, Right. There's an essence of like you're there for a purpose. You're there to do your job, and you're there to do your job to the best of your capability, and you're there to tell the story that someone else wants to tell. And that's very important. And you can't jeopardize that because you want something, or you want to look this way, or so it's like you are a blank canvas, and you're going in, and you've done the work, so you have something to give, but it is like, the director is like, no, I don't love that, I want this. It's your job to be like, yeah, cool, I can do that.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you don't have a lot of autonomy. So like any way that I can find autonomy in this industry and say what I want to say, I want to try and do it. So I love to write, I love to direct, and like I just love to I love to serve the purpose of the story. So I think that's why I love the idea of doing theater and TV at the same time.
Yeah. I think it's interesting because there's a benefit to being versatile in what genres of the field you're going to kind of pursue, or having that ability to do maybe a little bit of all of it, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting because obviously we speak with a lot of folks attached to the Star Trek world and universe. Yeah. There are a lot of theater people in this world of Star Trek. And as we've learned, as Star Trek has moved a lot of production to Canada, Canada has a thriving theater community. 100%. And that, I've talked a lot. I mean, we here in the States, we have that, but it's very focused to regions or specific areas, and being we have regional theaters, but they're not maybe the strength that they are in other countries like
yeah.
And I think that's a powerful thing, and I love that. I think you're in a great place to.
I agree. I love Toronto.
Yeah,
Toronto's a small like it's a small, like you really run into everyone in Toronto.
Yeah,
in terms
that's
of, like,
awesome.
The creative industry, which is so lovely. But like Toronto is, it's one of the places where it's like you can get, I think Canada and like at least Ontario. I think Ontario's huge with theater. Like you can go to like buttfuck nowhere and there, you know, that there's they're doing some jukebox theater, you know, like they're doing some cool theater that like you can go like every day of the week. And I think that's I think it's beautiful to see. I also think I hate when people say theater's a dying art. I know that it's somewhat true, but like in a way, but I don't think it could ever like die.
No.
And I think it's one of the most beautiful ways to connect with people.
You know, it's interesting because I think exactly what you're saying, that connection that you have not only as performers and technical staff, you know, on the stage production, but also then with the audience.
Yeah.
Because every performance is unique in its own way. Even though it may be something you're doing 6 days a week or whatever, it doesn't matter. It's still unique.
It's new.
And absolutely. Yeah. And I think a lot of that, like I think about, you know, in the musician's world of like opera, you know, being that's an art form you don't see vast across our country or a genre that we see across the world really very much, but it holds such a unique place in the medium that we need to celebrate these types of
100%.
activities more. So
it's hard to even deny, like, I don't like when people say it's dying, even though I know that, like, logically speaking, we're seeing less and less of it. But I think I don't like to say that it's gonna be gone because it's inherently a part of our history. Like, TV and film is a new industry in comparison to theater and opera. Like, theater and opera is inherently like it's almost like a primal thing.
Oh, it's foundational. It's
foundational. It's the reason that these things that we love, I love TV and film because it's accessible and not everyone can go to the theater and spend, you know, how much money on a ticket and go see theater, right? Which is the part where, you know, I hate that part of it, but it's one of those things where it's like, you can't love TV and film while not understanding its origins and understanding why it is built the way it is, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. I'd love to see the integration more often of both of these things. Like, I think if there's a theater show and we're recording it, making that more accessible. Cause I also think that there has to be some sort of outreach within the theater world to be able to reach like more youth, more, I don't know, like just different demographics. And the theater world is also incredibly like cis and white, you know, and having to make it more accessible. It is an expensive thing to get into, and it is hard to sustain a lifestyle on doing theater alone. It's really hard. Right. So it's like having to if we can make a way to make it more accessible and also more intersectional, I also think that it would thrive a bit more. And if we gave voices to shows that are because shows are being made, like shows are like, the problem is funding and like giving those pieces and those shows a space to be run. Yeah. But I think if we were to do that, then I don't think it's dying. I think it just has to redirect a bit in a way.
Yeah. I absolutely agree. I think we have to find a way to bring live performances to people. Even if that's like, you know, here you can come buy a ticket and see it live, or here's a ticket to stream it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I know that changes the dynamic a bit, but it's still awareness and exposure for people, the viewer, the audience member, and for the performers. So I agree. I hope that as the younger generations start coming up into this, that we start seeing more of the technology and things being involved in these.
Why not? You know,
why not? We got to try. We've got to try.
Adaptability. You know,
that's right. Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about Star Trek being a world where there are a lot of folks involved in theater and things like that. So tell me how you got involved in Star Trek.
I love it. I mean, with Star Trek, for me it was the standard audition, but it was Zoom. So it was like the first audition was on Zoom, so there's no tape. Mm-hmm. They gave me some sides. They were different than what I was doing on the day, like when we were shooting. Mm-hmm. But it was still like the same essence of what I was doing. But in Trek in general, the first time I actually learned about Trek was in school. And we were in our film theory class, and we were learning about different theories within film, and then we started with sci-fi. And then the first topic was Trek. And we watched the pilot of the first episode ever of Trek. And we learned a bunch of things about sci-fi itself, and also about I learned this insane. Trek was the first interracial kiss on TV at that time, and I think, and that in itself made me, when I learned about all that, and I want to watch the pilot episode, and then I got the audition, which wasn't Trek. It was Ivory Tower, and then
yeah.
You know, they did that thing. They're like, but my agent's like, yeah, so it's actually Trek. I went, woo-hoo-hoo. But I think that knowledge and that understanding of its history made me so much more like in awe that I was even going out for something like this. And also, like, I only did low budget stuff, so I've only done low budget stuff. So like doing something like this, where it's like, there's so much power and people and creativity and money going into making something that's so almost historical in a way.
Yeah.
Like it's insane. It's insane to be a part of it. So when I found out I got it, I was like, whoa. But I was also shitting my pants. I was like, yeah.
I mean, it does have a stigma to it, doesn't it? I mean, it
does.
There aren't a lot of franchise Trek is celebrating 60 years this year. So I think that says something, that the television industry is not, and film industry, you don't see franchises lasting that long. So I think that's special. So you weren't a Trekkie going into this. I
wasn't a Trekkie.
Yeah.
I loved the idea of sci-fi. It was just really hard for me to wrap my head around the jargon.
Mm-hmm. Oh, sure.
And I was always someone who's really like, if I don't get it, I don't want it. I don't get it. Like, I don't get it. Like, I have to understand every single thing. And I was also at that age, like, I'm only 20. So it's like, timing wise, it wasn't something that was really on TV for me.
Sure.
In any time
very
in my
true.
life.
Yep.
And then also, like, I had Brazilian parents, so we weren't watching, like, American, Canadian TV. We were watching, like, Brazilian telenovelas and, like, all that kind of thing. So, but when I started but then it was, like, school, and I saw the pilot, and then I just started, I bought a bunch of DVDs. There's a few that I haven't gone through, so don't put me on. All right. I got a bunch of the movies of, like, and I think when I started to learn the theory of like why sci-fi and why Trek is important, it made me, I think it's insane. Like, I feel like sci-fi is the idea that everyone belongs in space. I think it's so important. A lot of the time when we see movies in space, we see like an all white cast and all like very stereotypically, beautiful, whatever you want to say, like very stereotypical, very whatever, but you see only those people in space, and the idea that like space equals future, you know, to me at least. Right. The space equals future, and who you see in the future, it matters. It matters who you see in the future. And I think Trek has done a beautiful job of making space for everyone and understanding that space is for everyone. And that like there's unity in space, and it's not this like fight anymore about things that we see in our day, you know? Right. Of course there's aspects of it because that's inherently who we are and it's inherently our identity, but we're beyond that now. I love that we see an evolved version and a way out of the like the light through the tunnel that sometimes we don't see in our day, in everyday life, for us at least, you know? Yes, absolutely. I think that's the heart of Trek, and I think that I love for you especially that you were able to have your first experience seeing Trek be that foundational episode, which was filmed
in, in the era of the 60s where civil rights and interracial anything was so disregarded and just so anti everything.
And just denied in general, like not allowed absolutely. To air, not allowed to, like the fact that it was even aired is rebellion in itself, and I think it's so beautiful, and it's amazing.
Yeah, I think knowing that Trek started in that way and has lasted as long as it has says a lot about what it represents.
Yeah.
So tell me about when you found out you'd be playing Cadet Pickford. What was your first reaction?
I was so happy. I was so excited. I was so happy. I was so excited. I think I loved the idea that like Cadet, because Cadet Pickford was originally named Stressed Out Cadet.
Okay, I can see that. I can see why that would be. Like
always freaking like going crazy, going loco, that kind of thing. But I think the first moment that I read, I was just kind of so surprised that we were able to see someone in Trek that was like not good at what they do. I think it was important. I liked it. I liked that idea of it because I think whenever I thought of Trek, and after that I saw a bunch of different episodes here and there, and I saw I didn't have time to see the entire 60 years worth of material.
Come on, Raffa.
No, I know. I'll get there eventually. I will. I'm still watching. Okay. But I try to watch like pieces and clips of the medium within like the different eras of Trek.
Sure.
And all of them were like, they were really good at what they do. Like, they were like, yeah, they're on it. Like, everyone knows what they're doing. And the thing I loved about Starfleet, and specifically about Cadet Pickford, is that she's so bad, but you see that she's trying. Like, you see that she's there, and there's effort, and there's that understanding. I don't know. I think I love seeing characters on screen that they're not, that they have room to grow. Like, that they have room to grow on you, and you get to see the beginning of how bad they were to how strong they become. And I think that's beautiful when we talk about like the thing that we talked about before, space, and understanding that there is space for everyone in space, and like understanding that you don't have to be the most intelligent, the most like the best at everything, but you just have to try. And there's an essence of just attempting and trying and effort that's there that makes Cadet Pickford, at least to me, so lovable. I love it.
Yeah. I loved, because I think you were in 3 episodes, if I'm correct, right? And they were 3 big episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, they were, if you're going to look at that 10-episode season, those are 3 big
episodes. They were.
But what I loved about those moments with you in those scenes is there was something going on, something intense happening. And maybe all the other cadets maybe weren't showing that same reaction.
Yeah.
But Cadet Pickford was. She was like, I'm going to be all the nervousness and anxiety and stress for everybody right now in this moment.
Don't worry, guys, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take that for y'all.
Yeah. And I think it was a fun way of expressing that in those intense moments. And, it brought some brevity to what was happening.
What was happening. I also think I think they wrote it really well in the sense of, at least in episode, I believe, was it 6? With the one with, don't call me, I'm awful at the numbers. But I think when we're so destigmatized to how intense things actually are when we see them on TV, like we see that, like we don't think of things as intense, as intense as they actually are. And I think the way that Cadet Pickford was written, there's a beautiful way that it brings levity, but it also, I think it enhances the essence of urgency that each situation was in a way. Like I think when everyone is put together, the audience becomes a bit like desensitized to how serious something actually is.
Yes.
So seeing someone completely like in shambles while everyone else is like trying to keep it together, I think you then understand the essence of like, oh, this is what's happening is fucked up and something bad is happening. And
she really gave the other cadets permission to be like, okay, I don't have to freak out because she's got it.
Like,
and I don't want to be that right now, so I'm gonna do what I can. And
you walk in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it was really powerful and like I said, fun. So your episodes were in Starfleet Academy were Kids These Days, Beta Test, and Come Let's Away.
Yes.
Those were some serious episodes.
They were so cool.
They were good. What do you remember about your first day on set?
My first day on set. Well, first I did the table read.
Okay.
Or I did the table read with the cast, and I walked in, and it was just the energy is different. It's almost electric. I think there's so much passion. I think you can tell from watching how much work it takes to make
absolutely.
It, you know, like it's insane. But when you see like just a row of passionate people, and like you see the writer and you see like Alex just like kind of like reading the work that everyone is about to like slave away on to make it great. It's just beautiful. Like it almost made me emotional when I was there. When I was like, lock in, I have to lock in. Like I can't show. But it's almost emotional. And like everyone, I was kind of nervous because, 60 years of work. Like I was almost like, when you think of like big blockbuster, big franchises, big sets like that, sometimes they don't have the best rep in terms of like everyone being kind and everyone being like, but I think I went into it, I was like really nervous. I wasn't a big role, so I was like, oh, I'm going to be dismissed. I'm going to be like treated like whatever, but that's okay. I'm like, we're here. We're fine. It's fine. And it was the complete opposite. It was the complete opposite. Everyone treated me so kindly. Everyone, they treat each other like family. It's like once you're a part of Trek, you are family. Yes. And I didn't, you hear that. You hear that, oh, everyone's like a family, and they're all lying, okay? They're all freaking lying. But, and I've even said that once, and I was like, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. They're so nice, and they are, it's just they're working and whatever. But for Trek, I was shocked. Everyone's so kind. They treat each other like it's a big family reunion. And like they just welcome you into the family, and I don't know. And sometimes it's sad that I'm shocked by like decency in this industry, but it truly is. I don't know. I think the love that they have behind set translates to the love that they make on TV. And I remember seeing everyone like read it for the first time. Like I remember seeing Paul Giamatti read for Newsbrock. I read Holly Hunter read for Nala. Like Sandra Ross read for Caleb. Like all of them read, and I was in awe. I was like, yeah. I was like, this is insane. This is so cool. And then we did rehearsal, and they do rehearsal in the set, but the set wasn't lit yet. It was like. And everything's practical. Like they're shooting in the Paramount. They're shooting in Paramount Studios, but it's like one of the biggest. It's the biggest studio in North America. It's huge. You go in, it's just like this big construction. So it's not completely done yet. But you go in for rehearsal and you already see everything being made, and you're like, where the hell? Where am I? And then on the first day, everything was lit. Everything was practical. The tools were practical. Some of the effects were practical. The fire.
Right.
The fire was real. I was like, holy crap. Y'all are setting this place. Y'all built all of this to just set it on fire. This is insane.
Right.
And it was just, you don't really have to act sometimes. Like sometimes you're just like, things are just so crazy. You're just genuinely panicked. It's fun. It's so cool.
That's a powerful experience for a young actor starting out. Yes it was. I didn't understand it at a certain point, because it's also like with low budget, you're shooting 11 pages a day, sure,
and you're praying through it all, and you're trying to get it right because that we're tight on time and we don't have the budget to go over, right? So you're just trying to figure it out. On Trek, you're spending because also like it's like the visual effects, like
right.
it's a lot, right? So they have to take the time to make sure that even within when they're in post, like they can piece everything together exactly the way they want it. But like you're doing 2 scenes for an entire 16-hour day.
Right.
Like there's precision to everything they do. Like it's not this like, oh, let's go. Boom. Let's do it. Let's figure it out no, like it's right. Like there's precision. And I think it translated to the way that I also work even in low budget, because low budget in itself is a different monster. I love low budget stuff.
Sure.
I love low budget because it gets you going. You know what I mean? Like it gets the wheels pumping. But there's an essence of the precision that you get to have in a Trek world where, you know, like you are just doing it, repeating. There's space there for you to then pinpoint what you want to do and how you want to do it. And I think that's beautiful. And I don't know, it was insane. It was insane.
Did anything surprise you beyond, like, you know, maybe working with someone or any of like interactions?
Surprise? The gear was crazy. I don't know, the first thing that I thought of was the gear.
Wait, you're not the only person to have ever said that, so I understand.
The gear was crazy. I mean, they made custom lenses for the show, and like, I don't know, it's just because there's always like the risk of when something goes on for a very long time that people become less and less passionate about it. You know, people become more, oh, they're just doing it to do it rather than because they actually feel the want to do it. And not to say that's a bad thing. Like sometimes great art comes from that, but it was shocking that it wasn't that in a way. I don't know. Yeah. For me, it's always like, it's long. It's been a long time. And it's been so many different, it's cool to see that it's always surprising when they come with new things. Because, you know, it's been done. A lot of it has been done in different, not even in the Trek universe, just in TV in general, right? Right. So to see them being able to apply, I think it's really surprising and really cool that they tried to, because they were really targeting a more youthful audience this time, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like they were trying to get younger people to also keep the world built and going. And I think it's really cool to see how they would adapt Trek originally to this new kind of formula to get a different result. And I think it worked. In my opinion, it worked. But I think it's really cool to see, and really surprising that they did that, because sometimes like the idea is like just stick to the formula that works, you know? Like don't stray too far. So I guess that was surprising to me as well.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of Academy. All of us at Clonestar are there, and there's a lot of the fandom out there that are just thrilled with this series. And so I think what I love about this new iteration of Trek is that there's still core Star Trek that's laid throughout this, and so much wonderful, like, I guess we would call them nostalgia moments. Like there's connections to old Trek throughout Academy, but yet there's still so much new moving it forward. And I think that balance is not easily always achieved in a franchise. But I do feel like Academy was
I think
hitting it on all the marks.
Yeah, I think so.
I do too. I mean, I love that you feel like you hit right away with something iconic. Like it felt that way every step of the way, and that makes me feel good as a Trek fan, you know, my whole life. So I love that. How did you build Pickford then as a person? Was there a lot that you felt you had to give to her as a character?
I think the way with like stuff like Pickford, right? Like Cadet Pickford was only meant to do a little bit. And I think Cadet Cadet Pickford's purpose was to, you know, bring levity to the story and also bring the, like I said, like the essence of urgency. And the way that Cadet Pickford is written is it serves the story well, but sometimes I was like, oh, I don't want Cadet Pickford to feel like, I want Cadet Pickford to feel like a person and feel like their own individual. Cause like, you know, I think it's always hard. I think I love when they write in small characters like this, because it, you know, it's like, have you watched Victorious? I don't know if you have, but like Victorious is like, it's like a Nickelodeon TV show. I grew up watching it as a kid. Okay. And basically, like, you have your five main kids, right? And they're in class. No one else ever speaks except the five main. Okay?
Oh, okay.
And it's fun. And it's a fun joke. But it's hard to build a world when your audience is not stupid. You know? Your audience is not stupid. So when you have only 5 people speaking all the time, you just come to realize, like, this is not, it doesn't feel like the world is built at all, you know?
Yeah.
It feels like, like, this is a show and we're watching it and whatever. But what I loved about them is that they kept adding, like, little moments with all these different people to make it feel like it's a class, it's a school. Like, there's different people with different lives, with different, attributes, different habits, different, like, skill sets, different whatever, because it is a school. It's Starfleet Academy. It's also it's after the burn, so it's like not, it's like they're like structuring Starfleet, so it's not like the best of the best anymore.
Right.
It's not the best of the best anymore. They're trying to regain their momentum that they had before. So it's like adding Cadet Pickford, adding all these other people, you kind of build the understanding that, like, this is the restructuring of a system and trying to find their way within this new post-apocalyptic-esque situation. I don't know. I think with Cadet Pickford, it was a lot of, like, grounding, because a lot of it was this, like, big, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I'm losing my mind. And trying to ground that in the fact that, like, it is actually very scary what's happening, you know? Like, people are dying. There's, like, people who are injured on the floor. And I think it was just about understanding what the purpose of that moment was supposed to be within the show, while tying it to some sort of, like, context of what I assumed Cadet Pickford was going through in that moment. And before that moment. And, like, what is their backstory in a way? Like, why did they choose to be at Starfleet if they were also so panicky and scared?
Right. No, absolutely. And I love that, too, because historically in Trek, we see, like, the people on the bridge or the people that are experiencing that intense moment or attack or whatever it is, and they're all very, you know,
go mode.
In the go, they're the brave, they're the champion, they're the bold, they're doing their thing. And we very rarely see the person that is, like, actually having a human reaction to what is happening. And I loved that they made a full character for that. Like, there was an expression of that, and as there should be, because especially you're dealing with the Academy, so it's younger people, so they should be this more a bigger reaction to what that is. And
of course,
I think that was, you know, it was about balancing that nerves and humor and that energy all at once. And I applaud you. I think you did it very well, because we were all like, oh, the girl's screaming again. We're like, what is happening?
It's so, I love it. I like to think of Cadet Pickford as if one of us just randomly leaped into Starfleet Academy and was like, what the heck am I doing?
How did I get here? Right.
How did I end up in this situation? Right.
Did you build a backstory for her?
A bit. I didn't want to go, I wanted to give space, because obviously, like, you know, because sometimes the thing with it is, like, they sign you up for a specific amount of, like, what they have you, but then sometimes if they like you, they keep you in, right? Or they, like, build, or they love what you're bringing to it, so they, like, write you in more. So I didn't want to risk the idea of, like, if they have a vision, and then my original, like, idea of what it was, it goes against what they want, then I have to start in a way, and I didn't want that to happen. I think it was just more about building moment for moment. Like, I like the idea that, like, for me at least, Cadet Pickford is someone who, I don't know. I like the idea that after the burn, after everything that happened, they want to be useful in a way. Like, I like the idea that that Cadet Pickford is like this, like, earnest, very, like, effortful being, but doesn't understand nor know how to apply that within themselves. I think they're an incredibly traumatized being in my way. I also think like that they could also potentially come from a family that, you know, is very prideful and wants them to find themselves and like, no, like Starfleet is the way, like go, and then they're just like, okay, I guess I'll go. I guess I'll do that thing that I don't know how to do. I just like to think that they are very scared but very strong and just a very earnest person. And I think it's hard to, I didn't want to add too much backstory because, you know, then it becomes convoluted and like you can't bring all that work to the present because that's not what it's about, you know, it's about that moment. But I did want to set a sort of like limit to what I think Cadet Pickford would do and wouldn't do. Yeah. In a way. Just so that it wasn't.
I like that, the way you kind of refrained from building too much for her. Yeah. Because what is interesting, at least for me, so Mary Wiseman's character on Discovery, Sylvia Tilly, who she played. Absolutely. So when she started out, she was an ensign on Discovery, and that character was very like nervous. She had some anxiety, like there was a nervous tension to her and some reaction, and there's a quality there that I feel like Pickford, there was a little bit of a through line there with the two of them, and so I like that. It's just that Pickford got to do it in a bigger, more extreme way,
in a way that like a kid would, in a way that like a teen going through whatever they're going through, also just going through school and like the social idea of like what it means to be a teen, and then also have to like not die when shit goes wrong, you know?
Right. Like that's extreme.
It's extreme.
Really, Cadet Pickford is real. Let's be honest. Like she's very real coded, and I like that. What did you love most about being part of that Academy world?
I loved the people. I know it's so boring. What a boring answer, boo. But
I don't think it is, because I think this is a unique cast. This is
not
that again.
Not that again. No, but I think having a cast that's full of young artists, some of them their first jobs. Yeah. Some of them, like, basically veterans, like, know what the hell they're doing, you know? And, like, watching them and their chemistry in real time, it's insane. It's so cool. And I learned so much as an actor just by being around them and trying my best to do what I can to, I don't know, like, serve the story, but also just like be present with these people. Like they're so cool. They're so fun. They're so just, they're a joy to be around. Truly, every single one of them. And they're all so different also. And I think that brings such a beautiful energy to the screen, but also to every day when you're there for 16 hours and like having to, you know, survive the tired eyes, you know? Yes. It's just so easy to be present and to have fun. And I don't know. I think it's also like beyond the cast, like the crew too, like the crew are otherworldly. Like it's I also learned so much from them. I think whenever I go on set, I always have a balance between like, you know, like I love doing this, I love to be present, but also like the learner in me, the curious cat in me wants to go and like, you know, touch everything and see everything and ask questions about everything. And I think the crew and learning how they, cause like, you know, casts get off time, you know, like we get to sit in the corner and we get to eat our apple slices and, you know, yap about things and draw and go on and read in our phones and whatever. And we can complain or what, but like, you know, at the end of the day, we're sitting on our butts while there's like crew members like setting up the C-stands and huge cranes being brought in at like they never turn off, you know?
Yeah.
And so I think it's just this, I don't know. It's a different, it's so beautiful. I think for me, the most memorable moments for me in my career is Trek right now, for sure.
Yeah. Wow.
But it's also, yeah, it is. It was life changing. And it also, like, I think whenever I think about the best memories I have on set in general, beyond Trek, it's always been the process of making something rather than the result of it. I don't know. I don't know why that is, but the process has always been something that's so magical. Seeing how many people it takes to make something work. Like, there were hundreds of extras of BG. There are hundreds. And each one of them, like, the dedication and the work that they had to do to make it feel like it wouldn't have felt like every single person, no matter how like small someone from like that isn't in the industry sees them as, or like doesn't see their importance, like every single person that it took to make Trek made Trek a million times better. And and it's just so lovely to be able to witness and see that.
Yeah, that's special. And I know I love hearing that about our production of these Trek shows, but it's good because you hear it a lot, and you hear it across the eras of Trek, that it's always, there's something special about making the shows, making the films. And I love that. I think too, it goes back to, you talked about how your mom had been baking, as an outlet, but there's a process to that too, right? Like, and learning in that process, it's the same idea, as a musician. You rehearse, you practice line by line, 100%. Note by note. And so that process is a part of the creativity and learning that. So I'm glad that you were in a positive environment on Academy for that. Yeah. I think too, I want to talk just briefly about, there's such a range of people involved in this, at least from the acting cast. You have these, like you said, young folks who maybe this was even their first, job as an actor. Then you've got veteran comedians, you've got veteran Trek actors, you've got Academy award-winning actors. I mean, it's staggering, the range of people, and yet it still was a family. It still was a family. That's special. You're right. It's special, and it is. I know I love hearing that about our Trek universe growing with that concept happening, because that's what we want most, because. That's the heart of Trek. The work and the content is so, like, pure, but also so complex and nuanced that it has a way of almost like weeding out the people that would kind of destroy the Trek heart of it all, like destroy the Trek essence in a way. Sure. Like, I think the people who do great at Trek, it's because they also have that essence of like openness and being open-hearted and being open-minded and knowledgeable and curious and smart. And I think in that way, it just creates an environment full of people that are just great to be around. Absolutely. So I don't know. I think it's great. Yeah. Have you had much experience with like the Trek fan community? Have you had? I've been reading Reddit. I won't lie. I've been reading Reddit and I haven't had the privilege yet of like really like encountering like a huge like the Trek community. I remember them talking about Comic-Con, about them going to Comic-Con, and I heard like so many awesome things. So I know through like hearing them talk about it, the cast, I should say, the cast talk about it, that like it's insane. But even through Reddit, I think I love reading theories. I love reading the theories that people make on Trek. I think, especially Starfleet Academy, I love it. It's like there's so many things that like I haven't even thought
begun thought about, but but people are like bringing in the history, the almost like the chronicles of Trek, and being like, no, this moment means this moment means that.
Yes.
And I'm like, that's so, like, I honestly think that like the Trek fans should band together to also make like a band version of a new Trek show, because like the way that people's brains are, they're eating. They're so cool.
They really are. They're really,
so good.
It is, and I love too in the fan community that like there are people who are very in tune with starships and the technology of Trek, and there are people who are very in tune with like the characters and the storytelling. And when they work together, just the things that come up are, oh my gosh, it's fun, it's enlightening, it's all the things. So I love that you've experienced that from the other side of things.
I love that. Also, I think Trek fans are just so like, it's like I think like nowadays, because of the pure quantity and the lack of quality that we have in our media and like the speed in which we consume things, a lot of fans of things are very just not, they don't really, I don't know how to say it
not engaged.
They're not engaged in the actual content anymore. More than like a few, like, you know, you give them a week and they're all over it, and then they're over it, on to the next thing, you know? But I think because of the amount of time that Trek has been on air, and also the community that it's built, right? I think that everyone in Trek is just so engaged with the show. And I think that's wonderful. I mean, obviously, you know, I've seen like not very nice things that people have said about Starfleet beyond the content of the show, because I think also the point of film and TV and all of this is to be talked about. It's to be criticized, it's to be engaged with, it's to be consumed, but it's to be thought about, you know? Right. And so like whatever that thought that comes to it about the show itself, about the content, you know, I'm okay with that, because it's like that's what it's made for. It's made to have that dialogue, you know?
Yes. But I wish that the people who felt positively about the world that was being built on Academy were louder.
I agree.
And took up more space.
100%.
Yeah.
I also wish that the conversation, when it is more negative, was less about individuals as like the person that they are in the outside world, in a way. Right. Because I think that's when the line, I think, is crossed. Because it's like, you know, everyone on I will say, I can't speak for everyone, but on that cast, everyone worked so hard to deliver what it is that they thought that, you know, the direction of the show was supposed to go in. Sure. Right? So like everyone did work so hard. So to see, the only thing is like when people start hating on them as individuals, that's where it's like, they can't change things about themselves, right?
Right.
We can always change the direction the show is going in, or like, you know, like adapt it to something that the showrunners and that the writers want to see, and like take in what constructive criticism they get, right? But it's hard to do it when the biggest voices are the ones that are being like, are the ones that are like, you know, inherently kind of negative, but not even constructive in a way.
Correct.
You know?
Right. Absolutely. I think that a lot of the negativity I feel around Academy came from a place that had nothing to do with the show.
Yeah. You know?
And I agree with you. I think that it's unfortunate. I'm outspoken about the fact that I'm not happy about that I'm not happy that the show is not moving past season 2. So I agree with you wholeheartedly that there's a place for criticism.
Yeah.
Make it be about...
I think it's important.
It is important. It absolutely is. But it needs to be about the product.
Yeah. It needs to be the show. Because it's also like, as a fan, me too, like with anything I'm a big fan of, I think it's the idea of like, when we want something really bad as a fan, we're allowed to talk about it. Like that's the whole point. We're allowed to talk about it. We want to talk about it.
Right.
But there's also the essence of like, to get what you want, you also have to compromise. in a way. Even as a fan, like you have to be like, okay, so logically this won't work, but I really like this and I don't like this. Let's try and, talk about it. But I think it's great. I think most of the dialogue I've seen is positive, though. I won't lie. Like I've seen a lot of negative, but most of it is positive, and like I love how engaged people are with track. Like I think it's beautiful, and I think I've also gotten more engaged with it too through people being like, yeah, like this is really cool, and I'm like, wait, they talked about a new species. I don't even know what that is. I want to look into it. I think it's really cool.
It is. I'm so glad that it had an impact on you in that way too. So that's almost as equally important as actually being on the show. Is
100%.
Is getting that experience, because there has been some amazing fan art and fan fiction and fan theories developed from just this one season, and that's something that will not go away. That is something tried and true throughout Trek, and so
100%.
Thankful that will be a lasting legacy for Academy. As we kind of wrap things up here, I wanted just a few more questions for you. What are you most proud of in your journey so far?
I'm gonna give you another boring answer. Ew.
Okay.
Ew. No, I think the thing I'm most proud of in my journey so far in my career, I think is I try and lead with kindness in everything I do. And I hope that that other people feel that kindness as well. But I think I try to lead with the most empathy and kindness that I can, because I think that's what the job requires in a way. But also like, I'm proud of of my mindset and keeping myself and the people around me safe as much as possible. And I think that sometimes it's hard when, sometimes productions want you to just do what you gotta do, and but I'm so lucky that I'm really proud of myself that I've tried to cultivate the mindset of safety and kindness and having a good time, because I think that makes the process so much easier.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's what I'm proud of.
That's not a boring answer.
Okay, good.
Because I think kindness and empathy and safety and willingness to grow, by golly, I think we need all of that in the human race in general.
Yeah, I think so too.
Come on.
I think so too.
So yes, keep doing that.
Thank you.
If that's boring stuff, then keep doing the boring stuff. Yeah. What roles or stories are calling to you strongly?
I really want to do a horror. Woo!
Oh, you do? Okay.
I do. I love. I'm really bad at watching horrors. But
you like to watch them or no?
I'm really bad at watching them. Like
Why
it's really hard for me to watch. I have to. My thing is when things get really suspenseful. This is what I mean. I think I'm naturally just very like. I feel a lot of things that are happening around me. So it's really so like for movies that are really suspenseful, or like big thrillers or like a lot of horror, I have to watch them in segments.
Okay.
Because I get too involved.
Sure.
I get too involved, and then I get like ill a bit. I get like sick.
Wow, okay.
And then I have to be like, I have to turn this off for a bit, and then I have to pause. I have to take an hour, and then I have to go back to it. So I'm really bad at watching stuff like that. But I think the process really intrigues me, because I think even with Trek, and I think it's because of Trek too, because the way that they built everything. Like the fires, like everything was practical. Everything was this like really cool work that's being done, but in real time, like in person, like not even CGI or anything. Mm-hmm. That it's really interesting that I didn't understand the process of something so kind of unrealistic in a way, and how realistic it could be and feel. Yeah. So I think with horror, I think it'd be so cool to witness like the effects that people do to get like these horror styles down. I think it'd be cool to watch. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, maybe in being part of it and seeing it from that side and being a part will change. Scary. Yeah. Yeah. You'll lose some of that maybe.
Well, I like that too.
There have been several Trek actors who have gotten built careers around the horror industry too.
Yeah.
So that's exciting.
Love it.
Before I ask you the last two questions that we ask all of our Trek guests, what's next for you? Where can people find you? What are you doing next?
Okay, so actually this Friday, episode of Law and Order Toronto is coming out that I'm in, that I'm really excited about. And then we got renewed for season 3 of Macy Murdoch.
Awesome.
And then we have a few more things up our...
good.
But yeah. But it's
coming up. More to come then, right?
More to come.
That's great. I'm excited for you. We'll love to look to see what's coming up for you next. That'll be fun.
Thank you.
So this question we've just recently started asking all of our guests. What feels like home to you? Is it a person, a place, a group of people? Is it a feeling?
What feels like home to me? I think I'm going to say the first few things that come to my brain. I think like home to me isn't a place. I think it has to do with like a cultivated, a practiced feeling within yourself. Mm-hmm. In a way, I think I felt at home when I started really taking care of my mental health and my brain and who I was around. I think that's when I started realizing that I felt at home, like in many places that I went, regardless of whether I was near or not, like to where I live consistently. Right. So I just kind of started to understand that it was almost like sometimes home to me is just right in here, and like me taking care of myself and the mindset that I choose to have about things. I think also home 100% is the people that I love to be around, and also the community that I wish to make and grow, like the people I have around me. Yeah. Is home to me. So I think it's more about like the people I'm with, but also just like the sense of self that you can have, that as you grow, you start to realize that home is just like a mindset about about wherever you go, you know?
I think that's powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. And last question we ask every person on our show. So as Star Trek is entering its 60th anniversary, and with you being a part of this wonderful new chapter of Star Trek, we'd love to just close with this. Raffa, what does Star Trek mean to you? It's the easy question.
That's so good. Trek is the future. You know? We talked about it before a bit, but to me, Trek is about making space for everyone and knowing that everything's gonna be okay if we are with each other, regardless of how we think, regardless of like the things we choose to believe, because we're individuals, we all believe in different things. But as long as we're unified and we have empathy with each other and we treat each other with kindness and we have open dialogue with each other, I think that everything's going to be all right. And I think that that's what Trek is to me. That's the heart of Trek. And just like that it is for everyone, that there is a place for everyone and you can be who you are with no shame. And that's what Trek is to me, I think. Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And I love that you, as someone who is new to the Trek world and now a part of the Trek family.
It changed me.
I'm getting that, and I am so happy and thrilled for you that you have been able to be a part of it.
What's Trek for you, Jodi? What's Trek for you?
It's interesting because I hear a lot of these wonderful answers from all of these folks involved, but somebody said one time to us, and forgive me because I can't remember who, but they said community. And I think Trek's version of community it's a lot of what you spoke to. It's a lot of the hope and the understanding and learning and moving forward to something where we can always be better.
Yeah.
And doing that together in a community. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's beautiful stuff. So, yeah. We love Star Trek. There's the bottom line.
Love it.
Raffa, thank you for being on the show today. We loved having you as part of the Clonestar podcast. And thanks to all of you for tuning in. A special thank you goes to our amazing Patreon crew. Each of you helps keep the Clonestar mission going, and your support allows us to keep creating these conversations and celebrating the people, stories, and worlds that make Star Trek so special. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to Clonestar Podcast on YouTube and across social media. And don't forget to leave us a review on your favorite podcast platform. It's a simple but meaningful way to support the show and help more listeners discover us. Thanks again for tuning in, and until next time, keep aiming for the stars and boldly go.